All right, so we're back. I did get that other coil on there while you all were gone. Woohoo! You didn't want to watch that. It was boring. I also did one of the side coils. I'm going to do the other one where you can watch. I thought once is enough. If it's not, you can watch it twice, the same one, because it's the same thing. So I don't really need very much clay for this. Again, it should be fairly moist, otherwise it's not going to roll out very well. Doesn't need to be nearly as long as the ones that go all the way around. If you get these little lines in here, you can just smooth them out. Again, if your canvas is really drying out your clay, just spritz it a little bit on the canvas, but don't over drench it or your clay will really stick. That's pretty good. Yep, it's long enough. Okay, and if you have these lines, just put them on the side that you're going to score with. That's all good. No one will know. I'm going to trim off the bottom so it's flat. There. And then I'm going to put it in the right spot, and I'm going to smoosh that over just a little bit. There. Now, that's not really attached yet. We got to score and slip it. With this, you can use the Ninja Kitten on the coil, but just be careful not to get a bunch of scratch marks on that side that's going to show. But when it comes to scoring on your pot here, I wouldn't use the Ninja Kitten. You're not going to be able to get a small enough line, a narrow enough line. The Ninja Kitten's going to make a really wide line. By the way, this is called a serrated rib, not a Ninja Kitten, but serrated rib isn't going to make a narrow enough line. I'd go back to just general Angry Kitten and make like little X's, like Frankenstein stitches right over the seam. Scoring, old school. It's the way you did it before. It's a good way. You can do it again. Scoring and slipping and slipping. It is a lot longer not using the Ninja Kitten, but some things just have to be done by hand. It's the way of the world. Okie doke. There it is. A little bit of slip. Slip, 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 slip. Slip, slip. Slip, 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 slip. Oh yeah, that's nice. Alright, and a little slip here. A little dab here, a little dab there. It's worth it to take your time to not be messy with the slip right here, because why? You know why. You're going to get it all over your texture. Of course you knew that. Some of you I wouldn't have to tell you. Some of you aren't even listening right now. And you're going to get yours messy. Don't say I didn't tell you. Well, you probably will. But I did. Then put that on there. Now, just gently press this and support it on the inside when you press it so that you don't push. By support it on the inside, I mean put your hand there. So when you're pressing the coil on, that you're not smashing the sides of your pot in. And then I would go ahead and kind of smooth this out, make it look pretty. Pretty. There you are. And same as before, if you got some slip squish out on the sides of your pot where your texture is, make sure your paper towel is damp, not drippy, and it will kind of tuck in there better, and you can slurp that up. Oh, that's better. Maybe it takes 2 goes. I don't know. I think I need to move my coil just a little. It wasn't quite hitting all the score area. There. Ah, that's better. Take your time. Do a nice job. That's why they call it art. If you did it fast and sloppy, it would look junky. Some people make really fast and sloppy art and call it art. I don't know if I buy that. I think it's just sloppy people messing around with art supplies. Sorry, Jackson Pollock. Just saying. Okay, yeah, maybe you're the first dude, so ooh, you did it first. So you're special. Okay, but now it's been done. Sloppy art just looks sloppy to me. All right, there's that one. And I'm going to do this side here. That one went much quicker. I must have had more slip squish out on that other side. Very nice. Okie dokie. So we're almost done. I think I'm going to get done in this video. We need to do the inside coils, and the inside coils go on every place where there's a seam. So there's a seam down at the very bottom. I'll show you on here where this met the sides on the inside. That's a seam. You can't see it. It's down at the bottom all the way around. There's also a seam running up each side here. Okay, and then there's two seams around the top where these top coils are. You need to put skinny snakes and smooth over all those seams. The way you're going to have the best luck with this is to have clay that's super, super, super squishy. Super, super squishy clay works better. If nothing else, the clay that you're going to use for your skinny inside snakes absolutely positively needs to be less wet, or needs to be squishier and wetter than the actual pot itself. If this is strong and like dry a little bit, it's going to deform your pot when you try to make your inside seams. So whatever you need to do, make sure that the clay for your inside coils is really, really, really well recycled. Has lots of moisture to it. Believe me now or believe me later. Better to believe me now. I'm just saying. You want this clay to be extra wet. Even if it's brand new clay, I'm gonna make it wetter than brand new clay is. Clay's not new. I know, I already told you that. That was a different video. But you know what I'm talking about. Freshly processed clay even is a little bit too, you want it to be almost slip, but not quite. It needs to have a way to hold its own shape. But sort of like if you put it any more wetness, it would start turning into slip. Notice how I'm making these into very tiny little chunks. The tinier you make your chunks, the more moisture you're going to get incorporated into the clay. That's how it works every time. Don't say, Miss Reamer's mine doesn't get wet. I did that 3 times and look, it's still dry. You know the answer. You're just being lazy. You can do it. Smaller pieces, more water, let it soak longer. That's how you get dry clay wetter. All right. Spraying. Let it set a little while. I'm not going to make you watch me let it set for a long time. I'm just going to pretend. But I think since it was brand new clay and I made it this small and I squirted it a lot, it's probably going to be all right if I go now. Remember, it's squish and fold, squish and fold, squish and fold, squish and fold. What do you do? Oh, that's right. Squish it and fold it. But it's sticking, Miss Reamer. Yeah, it'll do that. That happens. Smear it off. Squish and fold it again, especially when your clay is going to be really wet like this. Oh, that's getting squishy. That's the more it wants to stick to your canvas. The more you get it mixed, the easier it is to pry it up from the canvas. All right, so see this? It's almost slip. If I had much more water in it, I could put it in a little container and use it as slip. I'm going to call these coils that you're going to make, but they're not really going to be coils. They're going to be more just strips. They don't have to be perfectly regular or anything. I think of it, there's a stuff that they use to seal like bathtubs so that they don't leak, and it's called caulk, C-A-U-L-K, and that's kind of how we're going to do. We're going to take some clay, get it really skinny. It doesn't matter if it breaks into chunks, and it doesn't matter if it's round. You want it about that big, not very much, okay? And then you're going to press that. Sometimes you'll have to stand up. You're going to tuck that. I don't know if I can reach it. You can do it. I know you can. There you go. I don't know if the camera will focus that far down, but I've tucked it into the seam right over here. I'm going to look on the camera. Too much light up there. I can't see. I think you can see it way down in there. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it comes off in pieces. Doesn't matter if it's perfectly round or if it's squished up. You're going to just keep putting that all the way around the seam. And some more. Right now I'm just tucking it in the right spot. I'm not smoothing it yet. There, so now you can see I have that clay all the way around that bottom seam. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to kind of and try to smooth that out so that you can't see the join anymore where the side meets the bottom. While I'm doing this, you'll notice that I'm supporting the outside with my hand so that I don't just poke right through the bottom of my pot, because that would be bad. This is the part that's like the caulk. This is what the plumbers do, where they smooth that white gooey stuff. Oh God, I'm glad you guys are listening to this on YouTube, or people would be being gross. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about? I'm not being gross. I'm talking about the bathtub sealant stuff. Alright, so that's pretty smooth down there. It's not perfect yet, but I'll straighten it out more in a little bit. Alright, next thing, so I've got the bottom seam done. Now I need to do these up and down seams. The bottom one's the hardest one, so we got that part out of the way. Does not need to be very thick. In fact, it's pretty much easier the thinner it is until you don't have enough clay to fill the seam. I'm going to set that right up in that seam. And do the same to the other side. We are really almost done. This is like the last bit. Yay! You made this work really hard, Mrs. Reamersma. Yeah, I did. I know. You were really picky about how you were doing this, and I was doing it exactly the same. That's not art, Mrs. Reamersma. Okay, yeah, this is kind of technically more of a craft, but when you learn these skills, the craftsmanship and integrating coils and slabs to make a vessel, you've got a lot of skills that you can use so that when you do your next project or do some in high school, you can apply all these skills to come up with your own ideas to make cool things that are artsy and original instead of just everybody doing the same thing. So there, blah. Again, I'm supporting it out here because I don't want to pop this seam open by pressing too hard on the inside. If yours is starting to come apart, chances are it means that the clay that you're using for your inside seams is close to the same wetness as the clay that your pot's made out of. If your clay is drier on your pot, it will be able to handle more pressure when you're trying to smooth out the inside coils. Sorry, it's kind of confusing, but that's the way it is. All right, there's that one. And I'm kind of pressing to one side and then the other on down, because that makes it easier to spread it out. Notice that this takes a minute. You're sitting here watching this thinking, this is boring, Miss Remersma. Okay, fair, but that way you know when you go to do yours and you're not done in 5 seconds, because it takes a while, that it took me a while too. It just does. Now this would be a food-safe vessel. Could be a food-safe vessel for the materials that we're using. If you do a good job smoothing on the inside here, I mean, it would be a huge cup or ice cream malt container or something like that. But technically you could use it to put, you could put popcorn in it to eat it off when it's your favorite movie. It'd be a good size for a popcorn container. At any rate, if you don't smooth it well, then you'll have all these little crevices and creases in there that food germs, bacteria and whatnot can hide in, and then you could give yourself food poisoning. And it wouldn't be that the clay or the glaze or anything made you sick, it would be that you didn't smooth it good enough and bacteria is hiding. So if you plan to use this to eat out of, you definitely want to, sorry, pot. There you go. You definitely want to take the time to smooth it well. All right, so I've got the bottom one and the 2 side ones. Now I'm going to do the 2 around the top. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect coils. It can just be like little tapeworms. What? Gross. I know. I've seen if you're listening. So now I'm doing the second coil here. I forgot you were listening there for a while. I was totally into my pottery. I was thinking about when I get home. I don't know if it's raining out or not. I have dandelion weeds to spray. But if it's raining, I can't do that. Alright, so I've got both those coils put on there. Now I'm just smoothing them out. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Notice that this hand is supporting the pot the whole time so that I'm not smushing it out of shape too badly. Smooth, 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 smooth. This Darth Vader smoothness. Smooth, 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 smooth. And it switches to Mozart. Smooth, 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 smooth. I don't know any more than that. Anyway, you get the idea, I'm hoping. I'm hoping that. You're going to keep going until it's really, really, really smooth. And when you think you've got it smooth enough, then you're going to let me peek in there, and I'm going to see if I agree with you. And if we both agree that it's nice and smooth, then, mine's not done yet, by the way. It needs to get smooth more here, but I'll tilt it. It's getting closer, not quite there. When you do have it done, flip them over and make sure the bottom doesn't have any big gaps or wrinkles. This should be pretty well attached because of the coil you put on the inside. I would use a dullish pencil. Use a dullish pencil, not the needle tool, and write your name in the bottom and period 5, P5, P6, whatever class you're in. I'm just going to put an X on mine because it's going to be, you know, sometimes people's don't make it, and then it's nice to have a spare. So X means extra. Okie dokie. That's it. Once it's smooth and you got your name and your period on the bottom. Now, I know I didn't finish mine. You're going to have to finish yours. You don't want to sit and watch me do that, do you? I didn't think so. Anyway, once you do that, you're good to go. You're all done. This was hard, but you did it. I knew you could. I knew you could. Thumbs up. Good job. Reamersma out.